More than 100 individuals ate at the KIRIKIRI correctional centers after being detained on suspicion of having ties to Boko Haram have been freed. Hey. According to information obtained by Sahara reporters, the majority of the suspects who have been freed were detained on suspicion of being Boko Haram members in the states of Borno, Bauchi, and Kano in late 2009, when the police and other security agencies conducted raids and resulted in the detention of numerous terrorist organization members. Over 100 Boko Haram suspects held at Kirikiri prison were released last Friday. On Wednesday, the suspects started selling their properties in prison in preparatory for their release. The assailant controller, the Assistant Controller General came to Kirikiri on Thursday and announced their release. A big vehicle was brought on Friday and they were transported to the airport, a source told Sahara reporters. Na even airport, na plane they even enter. Another source, however, said the prisoners were freed as part of a swap deal with terrorists for the release of the 23 remaining abducted passengers of the Abuja-Kaduna train. And they are telling us it's a suspected. On March 28, a train on its way from Abuja was attacked by bandits, which we all know the story. And several persons were killed, while many were abducted during the attack. Some have been released. Last Wednesday, the remaining captives were released by the gunmen. It was actually a prisoner swap demanded by Boko Haram. So they should stop telling us they are suspected this and this and that. It don't finish now. They have freed them. The legal and council had recently kicked against the continued detention of some of the suspects. Some of the suspects were arrested in their homes, business premises, mosque, or traveling on the highways during raids carried out by the police. Daily Trust had quoted an official of the council as saying, "From our investigation, more than 160 persons were arrested, but we now have 101 still in detention. They were initially 104, but 3 died in detention while 6 others have mental problems due to trauma." He said the detainees were initially arraigned before court in Kano, Maiduguri, and Bauchi. He said the court granted them bail, but some of them could not meet their bail conditions, hence they are still in detention. They were separately detained in correctional centers in Kano, Maiduguri, and Bauchi pending the time they would meet their bail conditions. However, in March 2011, they were all headed into a truck and moved to Lagos. We have 74 being detained in the Kirikiri Maximum Correctional Centers, while 27 are detained in Kirikiri Medium Correctional Centers, he added. He said that after their movement to Lagos, there was an order that they should not be allowed access to their relatives. He added that many of them had lost contact with their relatives. He said the detainees were charged with offenses which mostly carried a maximum of 4 years imprisonment. What it means that they would have even served their terms by now if they had been convicted, he had claimed. They could not even also be determined under the Terrorism Act, as the law was passed after their arrest and it does not have a retrospective effect. These people should be released or brought back to the respective places of their arrest and be prosecuted. This is a clear case of human rights abuse which should be addressed immediately in the interest of justice. It was also learned that the Director General of the Council wrote the Attorney General of the Federation for his intervention. In the letter, the DG stated that there was no further reason to keep the suspect in detention since the authorities had lost interest in the case. They lost interest in the case, but it is only Nnamdi Kanu they will now be performing, acting as if they know they are doing law. They are using Nnamdi Kanu to play games. they will be going back and forth, back and forth, that even the government has lost interest in the case. You can imagine, lost interest in the case, but every day adjournment, adjournment. You now know that oh, we have a judiciary, we have a judges in this country because of Nnamdi Kanu's case. But see what is happening. He also noted that the detainees had undergone a de-radicalization program organized by the government while inside the correctional center. When contacted, Abubakar Dalami Umar, National Public Relations Officer of the Nigeria Prison Service, told Sahara reporters that he wasn't aware of the release of the terror suspect. But they don't release them. You know they are aware. Well, those one they don't go. You don't. Now that's the end. Buhari, Tinubu, El-Rufai, Shetima, and Boko Haram members. They are all terrorist benefactors and beneficiaries. Terrorists are untouchable. The only dead bodies we see are those of our soldiers and their victims. Buhari don't finish this country. I said this earlier that Boko Haram terrorists are being brought by Buhari and other northerners, kings, men. God is there watching. And some useless Yorubas and Igbo will be here in support of the devilish uh, Akobi Fulani APC party. God will not forgive all of you and your generation. Yet Nnamdi Kanu is still languishing in DSS custody despite his failing health. There's God though. You see, we have two countries in this countries in one country. We are treated as second class while others are first class. God, why? Why now? This is bad news. These are okay for Nigeria to divide Fulani, kept Nnamdi Kanu for saying the truth. People that are killing innocent citizens are flown to Borno and Kano to be released. God have mercy. If actually these 100 persons released were not important to the Boko Haram group, I don't think the Boko Haram would have agreed to free the remaining 23 train victims as a swap for the 100 that was released by the Boko Haram, or for the Boko Haram. Just like that, yes, so they just released them just like that, just like that, just like that. Bad news. This news is not strange. The APC government has been actively supporting bandits and Boko Haram since inception. It's just unfortunate that innocent citizens are on the receiving end with no end in sight. You see? You now the yes. So guys, let's hear your opinion and have your take on this.